Hello. Good evening. Good evening, millionaires. Ah, good evening, good evening, good evening, millionaires. Good evening, millionaires. My name is Amma Nantwi, okay, and I go by Amma the CPA. So, I actually okay. So I'm gonna talk about the top credit mistakes, right? Because that's what I posted. So good evening, millionaires. Good evening, millionaires. Make sure that you guys share the broadcast not only on your personal page, but also in different groups that you are in as well. And you know what? Maybe I'll talk about that tomorrow. This is like my first week not having everything planned out, and it's like completely annoying. But you know what? Today is tax day, so why don't I even talk about my last post that I just made? Um, I don't even know. I like can't make a decision right now. It's so much going on, but good evening, good evening, good evening, millionaires. Good evening, millionaires. Welcome to yet another edition of Good Evening Millionaire, right? My name is Amma Nancy. I go by Amma the CPA. I don't like it like that. I go by Amma the CPA, which stands for Certified Public Accountant, okay? Which means that I am certified to help the public when it comes to different accounting needs. So today, make sure you guys put in the comments, good evening, millionaires. Let us know where you are calling in from and all that good stuff, right? So you want to greet everybody by millionaires. Why? Because everything happens 3 times, right? So the first time is in your mind. That's why we always say millionaire minded. And then second is on paper. You want to write it down and make it plain. And then third is in execution. So good evening, millionaires. Good evening, millionaires. Make sure that you guys share the broadcast not only on your personal page, but also in different groups that you are in as well. And I am trying to decide, and while I do that, make sure that you guys post the broadcast, share the broadcast. Make sure that you put it in different groups and stuff like that, as well as on your personal page, because even if you personally know this information that I'm going to share, everybody doesn't, right? So each one teach one. We can totally change the world. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to actually change the caption a little bit later, but I'm going to talk about if you owe the IRS, right? I feel like it's totally fitting for today. Today is actually kind of stressful. It's the deadline, and for whatever reason, people wait till the last minute, and it is I don't even know. Like I'm completely it's just too much. So you want to make sure that you file early, okay? But a lot of times when people they wait until the last minute, and it's totally, totally understandable. So what I want to do right now is instead of talking about the business credit tips, I'll talk about that later. What I'm going to do is talk about like what you can do if you owe taxes. Now, taxes is really our #1 expense. So how about we put that in the comments? And thank you, my sister, Flower Child, Veggie Girl, and Connie Laney. Thank you so much, millionaires, for the shares. Thank you for the shares. I totally, totally appreciate it. So today what we're going to talk about, and we're actually going to keep it a little bit quick because I have a call coming up at 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, going over an amazing concept called income shifting. If you're trying to lower your taxes, get out of debt, make more money, you want to make sure that you tune into that. The flyer is on my page. Okay, so make sure that you guys tune into that. It's going to be an amazing call. I'm hosting it, and I have an amazing guest. One of my really good friends. We've been in this business for about 3.5 years now, and he has an amazing, amazing testimony. So you guys want to make sure that you guys tune in for that. And that's going to be coming up in just about 55 minutes, okay? Top of the hour. So good evening, millionaires. Good evening, millionaires. Make sure that you guys share the broadcast. I will update the comments after we get off. So instead of me talking about the credit tips, I want to talk about taxes, because this is tax day, right? Which means that this is the day that the IRS suggests that we submit all our taxes, okay? So this is like the tax deadline day. So a lot of people are kind of scrambling. Now, a lot of people end up owing taxes at the end of the year. So what I want to give you is just my top three tips on what you can do if you owe and how you can kind of prevent that from happening, okay? So first off, what I do want to say is give me a number one and a share. Give me a number one and a share. Good evening, millionaires. So put a number one in the comments and share the broadcast. So number one, the first thing that I want to go over is taxes is really our number one expense. And I'm going to break it down a little bit further in the call that we're going to have at 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. But taxes is really our number one expense. A lot of times people will say, like, you know, if you ask somebody what's their number one expense, they'll say like, oh my God, my car note, or oh, my rent. A lot of times it's people's rent and mortgage, right? But if you really break it down, it's really your taxes. Why? Because your taxes comes off the top and it's about 30% of your income. Now, one of your other expenses are 25 to 30% of your income, right? That just doesn't happen. So taxes is really our number one expense. And so a lot of times at the end of the year, we may end up owing taxes. We do different things like, we claim 10, then we claim exempt, then we claim 2, right? Because we're trying to play with the numbers and fluctuate them so that we can get our money, get the most bang for our buck, get most of our money so we can spend it throughout the year. And then we just keep our fingers crossed, right? For today, days like today, and somebody, your tax preparer is like, okay, well, I put everything in the system and you owe like $2,000. And you're like, And so, yeah, it probably felt really good getting that extra money from claiming exempt and stuff like that. But then now when it's time to pay up, I, of course, know who wants to pay up, right? So that's the first thing that I want to say is kind of just like, you want to make sure, and I do have a video about claiming exempt and stuff like that, but you want to make sure that you keep track of this stuff and that you really, don't claim exempt if you're not exempt, and just know that taxes are our number one expense. So what our whole goal is, and, is just obviously to teach financial literacy. And one of those things comes with making sure that people do not overpay their taxes, okay? We want to definitely pay what we owe. We do not want to overpay, okay? So now I'm going to get right into kind of what I went over on my post and just kind of break down what you can do when you owe money, okay? So give me a number 2 and a share. Give me a number 2 and a share. Good evening, millionaires. Give me a number 2 and a share. So put a number 2 in the comments and share the broadcast. Make sure you share it on your personal page as well as in different groups that you are in. Thank you so much, Coach Bowens and Apostle Ray, right? And everybody else, because I can't always see the shares, but I saw those 2 pop up in my notifications. So thank you, millionaires. Okay, so number 2. So let's say that, so if you owe, right, today, if you filed your taxes, or if, if somebody put everything in for you and you owe, filing an extension, okay, is not an extension for you to pay the money. So what does that mean? It's not an extension for you to pay. It's just an extension for you to file. Okay, a lot of people don't realize this. So what happens is people will say like, oh man, I filed an extension. But guess what? Because the taxes come out of our paycheck and we are supposed to pay every single month. Now, even if you are a business owner, you are expected to pay quarterly, okay? When you have more than $1,000 due, you have to pay a penalty. It's you may have to pay a penalty, okay? It's like another form that you'll have to fill out. Your tax preparer will have to fill out for you on your behalf. You may have to pay a penalty. So just know that a lot of times people will say like, okay, it's the deadline, I'm not ready to file, so I'm going to just go ahead and file an extension. Just know that that extension really counts towards you filing your taxes. That's it. That's just the paperwork. The IRS will still tack on penalty and interest for any late payments. So what does that mean? So let's say you filed your taxes right now, you put everything in the system, but you didn't submit, and you owe them $1,000. That means that if you don't pay that, you can file an extension, and you don't pay that $1,000 that's not postmarked today or e-filed today by midnight, then what that means is that now you can owe penalty and interest for late filing. Okay, it's like a late filing penalty, and you'll also have to pay an underpayment penalty because they, like I said, they want you to pay your money when you're a business owner, like every quarter. And then when you are a W-2 employee, obviously they take it from your check every 2 weeks or however often you get paid, it gets deducted from your paycheck. So you want to be very, very clear of that, because a lot of times people think that, oh, I'm going to file an extension, but it's not an extension to pay. Okay, it is not an extension to pay. So just know that. I just want everybody to know that. So give me a number. That was number 2. So give me a number 3 and a share. Give me a number 3 and a share. Good evening, millionaires. So put a number 3 in the comments and share the broadcast. And we're going to get out of here kind of early today so I can get back to it. And then I have another call right after this, right? That's also posted on my page. I might do Facebook Live as well. We'll see. So give me a number 3 and a share. Good evening, millionaires. So put a number 3. Make sure that you share it not only on your personal page, but also in different groups that you're in. Okay. So let's say that you do owe, and there's nothing that you can do, and you're like, oh my God, okay, I got to pay this money. What am I going to do? And you actually have the money. Now, number 3 actually requires that you have the money. Okay. So let's say you have the money. What you can do is you can set up a traditional IRA. Now, typically, if you contribute to like your 401k, typically when it's related to a job, they will only accept payments when they come directly from your paycheck, right? So what you'll have to do is set up another one. And I would say inbox me. You can totally inbox me. Inbox me if you need some recommendations and stuff like that of different places that you can go. You can also, it's also on Google, as my business partner and my friend, Coach Flono says, it's on Google, right? But inbox me if you want to know like where you can put your money for a traditional IRA. So what you want to do now, when you have a traditional IRA, you can contribute up to $5,500. Okay, so the max out for your whole like retirement 401k is like $18,000 for like a regular employee. Okay, so but what you can do is you can set up a traditional IRA at any type of investment bank, and you can put in there up to $5,500. Now, depending on where you fall in the tax bracket, it will determine how it will adjust your tax liability. So typically, millionaires, for if you're like in the 25% tax bracket, then it'll be like 25% that it'll reduce your tax liability. So you kind of want to see that it's not necessarily dollar for dollar, but it's just based on like the tax bracket that you are in. So for example, if you put in the $5,500 and you're at that 25%, then that'll give you about like a almost $1,400 reduction to your liability. And that's the whole thing. It's like, would you rather pay yourself or would you rather pay the IRS? So depending on where you fall in this, based on how much you'll have to pay, how much you owe and stuff like that, then you want to make a decision like, okay, so do I want to put this money into a retirement fund for myself, or do I want to send it to the government? So it just depends on where you fall out, and definitely get in touch with your tax preparer for that. They can help you with that. But that's just like a sidebar. Like a lot of times people say like, oh, I owe $300. It's like $300. Put money into a retirement. You know, $1,000. Put money into a retirement and stuff like that, because it'll benefit you in the long run. So you want to make sure, just so you know, that that's definitely an option that you can do. When you owe money, you can just put money into like a traditional IRA, and this is like for regular people. So now number 4 and a share. Give me a number 4 and a share. Now this is like my all-time favorite. So please make sure that you guys share the broadcast, especially for any business owners that you know, people that typically owe taxes at the end of the year. This broadcast is definitely for you. So give me a number 4 and a share. Put a number 4 in the comments and share the broadcast. Okay. So let's say you have a home-based business, right? Because you guys know that that's like one of my things. That's one of my specialties. That's like my heart, right? I love home-based businesses because it gives like the average ordinary person the opportunity to really take advantage of these tax deductions and really reduce their number one liability, which is what? Right? Taxes. Okay. Whereas like people like Donald Trump and millionaires and billionaires, they have access to this information already. But the everyday ordinary person does not have access to this information. And even if they do, they don't know how to go about it. So that's definitely where I come in. I'm the CPA, right? Your favorite CPA's favorite CPA. So definitely reach out to me if you guys have any type of questions or anything like that, especially when it's related to starting a business and stuff like that. So last and definitely not least is my all-time favorite. So when you are self-employed, okay, when you are self-employed and it comes time for you owing the government, because you are self-employed, you can open up a SEP IRA, right? And again, that's on Google, but it's SEP IRA, right? And it's like self-employment pension plan. So you can open your something like that. I think that's what the P stands for. I don't know, but you can open that up. And then guess what? You can put in there. So let's say it's the end of the year. This is like my favorite part. It's the end of the year. It's time for you to file your taxes. You can put money into it even up until you file your extension. So let's say you file an extension. The extension that you submit like today will go until like October or whatever, right? You can keep filing your extensions. And guess what? You can put that money in up until your extension expires. Okay, so that's like my favorite part. On top of that, when you open up a SEP IRA, and this is only for self-employed individuals, when you open it up for 2017, you can put up, it's 25% of your profit up to $54,000 that you can put into this retirement plan. So it's like instead of you paying the government, you can just put the money up yourself, right? But it is 25% of your profit or up to $54,000. So it's like you have to actually make money on your business. So a lot of times, people will come to me and they don't make money on their business and they report their business as a loss. Now, yes, that is still a tax write-off, but you cannot put a whole bunch of money up because not in a SEP, okay, because it's not the net profit of the business, and that's what is required for your SEP. So for all my business owners out there, or for anybody that traditionally owes, right, and you're looking to start a business, then you definitely want to reach out to me. I can help you guys get started with that. Each one teach one, we can save the world. My name is Alma Nancy. I go by Alma the CPA. Make sure that you guys check us out. Check me out. I'm so sorry. Subscribe to Dear Millionaire. Put that in the comments for me, please, millionaires, and thank you. In addition to making sure you share the broadcast, also, millionaires, make sure that you guys check out almathecpa.com. It's a free video series on there on increasing your cash flow. And last and definitely not least, check us out In just about 40 more minutes now. We're going to go live, probably more than likely. We'll go live with a concept called income shifting. So you want to make sure that you guys tune into that. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Each one teach one. We can change the world. Everybody have an amazing evening. I'll see you an amazing tax day. And I'll see you guys in a bit. But make sure you follow these tips if you owe any type of money. And reach out to me if you guys have any type of questions, okay? Now, today is kind of busy, right? So charge it to my head, not my heart. And, I'll definitely get back to you and help you.